Lorie Out Loud.
Hey, beautiful people. Welcome to the very first episode of Lorie Out Loud, the podcast where real talk meets real life and we keep it all the way soulful, stylish, and smart. I'm your host, Lorie Jean Akanbi. Some of y'all know me as the dreaded blues lady, others as Madam Vice Mayor, Mama of Five, or just plain old Aunty Lorie. However you found your way here, I'm so glad you did because this is about to be your new favorite corner of the internet. Now listen, this isn't just any podcast, and I know everybody says that. This is a space where we celebrate bold voices, beautiful minds, and big dreams. On Lorie Out Loud, we're bringing together the many pieces of what makes life colorful and powerful. I'm talking fashion and art that tells a story, international love and how cultures collide and connect, diversity in business with spotlight interviews from women and minority owned brands right here in Virginia and across the globe, travel for the curious soul, investment in legacy building made simple and soulful, women breaking barriers in trades, crafts, and construction. Because, yes, sister can swing a hammer and rock them heels. Foreign language learning to expand our reach and deepen our roots. And of course, music, because you know I've got to keep the blues alive and lift up global sounds that move our spirits. This podcast is where curiosity meets creativity, culture, and courage, where we laugh loud, cry if we need to, and lift each other up in truth and joy. You're going to hear stories that'll shake your spirit, drop some knowledge in your ear, and maybe even push you to dream a little wilder. Whether you're tuning in from your morning commute, your sewing table, your job site, or your cozy couch in some far corner of the world, welcome home. This is our space. This is our sound, and I'm honored to share it with you. So buckle up, ladies and gentlemen. We're going on a journey from the foothills of Virginia to the heart of Africa and everywhere in between. This is Lorie Out Loud, where we speak courageously and passionately from the soul, and almost nothing is off limits. Let's get into it, y'all. Lorie Out Loud starts right now.
Lorie Out Loud.
All right, now, welcome back to Lorie Out Loud. In today's featured artist segment, we're shining a spotlight on the multifaceted and inspiring Roshi K, who also goes by the moniker Coco Roshi. Roshi is a dynamic artist whose work spans various mediums, each reflecting her unique vision and cultural influences. And let me just say right here, by the time I went to broadcast with this, I had not confirmed the correct pronunciation of the name. And so I settled upon Coco Roshi or Roshi. And so I hope I'm pronouncing it right, but if I am not, please forgive me. Charge it to my head and not my heart. Now, behind me is Coco Roshi's work. This is, if you can't tell, this is Erykah Badu. I want a rim shot, hey, diggy, diggy. I saw that work and I had to have it. I fell in love with her work. So, Roshi K is a multimedia artist renowned for her vibrant fashion, illustrations, and impactful murals. Her artistic journey is deeply influenced by a rich tapestry of inspirations, including anime, manga, Japanese history, the African diaspora, mythology, linguistics, sematics, quantum physics, and the natural elements. These diverse influences converge to create art that is both visually captivating and culturally resonant. Rosie's work is characterized by a strong sense of composition and graphic design, bringing stories to life with vibrancy and depth. Her fashion illustrations are not just images, but narratives that convey emotion and movement. She creates fashion illustrations full of storytelling and vibrancy with a luxury feel that captivates viewers. And I tell you, that Erica Badu captivates me. You know, she used to hang over my bed. And so once I started the studio, I knew that she had to come here because she is just very beautiful. Beyond the canvas, Roshi has made significant contributions to public art through her murals, particularly in East Austin, Texas. Her large scale works often depict women of color as goddesses, aiming to empower and inspire local communities. In a 2018 interview with Cultural Map, Austin, Texas, Roshi expressed her desire for locals to see representation in their area, stating, "It's great for locals to see that there is still some brown in the area." Roshi is an active member of Few and Far Women, an international collective of female street artists dedicated to creativity, education, and social justice. This group focuses on beautifying public spaces and advocating for women's rights and representation in the arts. Continuing her artistic evolution, Roshi remains engaged in creating and sharing her work. Her recent projects include collaborations with art centers and participation in mural events that celebrate community and creativity. For instance, again, this work is from a recent art show that the artist had at the Shenandoah Valley Art Center, which served to showcase her involvement in Waynesboro's local art scene. Roshi K, or Coco Roshi, exemplifies the power of art to tell stories, empower communities, and bridge cultural divides. Her dedication to her craft and her community continues to inspire and resonate with audiences far and wide. For more information about Roshi K's, aka Coco Roshi, visit her website at cocoroshi.com. That's CocoroShi.com.
Lorie Out Loud.
Step into the spotlight with Fashion View, a brand new fashion-themed segment debuting exclusively on the Lorie Out Loud podcast, hosted by the ever-stylish Lorie Jean Akanbi. In each episode, Lorie will give listeners a behind-the-scenes look at her outfit of the day, from statement pieces to subtle details, whether it's a bold ensemble or an effortlessly chic look. She'll walk you through the inspiration, styling choices, and standout elements of her wardrobe. And there's more. If her outfit features the handiwork of a talented seamstress or the artistry of a fabric designer, or both, Lorie will be sure to spotlight them, giving credit where it's due and celebrating the creatives behind the threads. Tune in for a quick dose of fashion flair and fabulous storytelling only on Fashion View, only on Lorie Out Loud. And speaking of Fashion View, allow me to showcase today's outfit. An off-the-rack lime green A-line dress that accentuates my body type. I cap it off with some vibrant glass beads around my neck, and I continue the bead theme with a large purse crafted by students in Tamale, Ghana. This purse is big enough to hold all your things. And man, you can even lose a few things in here. I once lost a bra in this exact purse. That's an inside joke. Mani Petty by Alicia Bryant over in Stanton. You can reach Alicia at 434-426-5337. Hair by Thais Blanding at Nubian City at 434-845-0020. And Thais is over in Lynchburg, Virginia. Lips by The Lip Bar. And you can contact The Lip Bar at thelipbar.com. That concludes this episode of Fashion View. Until next time, I'm Lorie Jean Akanbi.
Lorie Out Loud.
Hey, y'all. You're listening to Lorie Out Loud, the podcast where we get real, get loud, and get into all the beautiful, magical things that make life, love, and culture worth talking about. I'm your host, Lorie Jean Akanbi.
I'm Clarence Mustafa Akanbi, your resident Ghanaian, creative nerd, and a culture hype man.
Y'all know what time it is? It's time for our favorite segment. Say what?
Welcome to Say What, guys, the segment where I teach you, our wonderful listeners, how to speak Tree, one of the most widely spoken languages in Ghana.
And I play the role of student comic relief and occasionally confused American wife. You're welcome.
Yeah, she's doing great, honestly. So let's get into today's lesson. Greetings in Tree. If you ever visited Ghana or meet someone from Ghana, this is where you start. All right, so let's say you see the person and you want to say good morning to the person in Tree. This is how you go about it. Memao achi.
Mewa.
Me
No.
memao wo achi. Memao wo achi.
Mama wo achi.
Yeah.
Was that right?
Yeah, I think it's cool. So you say it slow, like memao achi.
Mema wo achi.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So you have to say it with a little more rhythm, like memao achi. Like, to sound
Mema
wo
wa
achi.
achi. Mema wa achi.
Yeah, perfect. Now let's go. Like, let's say if you want to say good afternoon, you will say something like memao aha. Memao aha. You get it?
Mema wo aha.
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 Uh-huh. You got it. Then let's say if you want to say good evening, you will say something like Memao Ajo.
Mema wa ajo.
Ajo. Yeah.
Ajo.
Memao Ajo.
Mima wa ajo.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like Ajo. Like Ajo. You get
Ajo.
it? Memao
Ajo.
Ajo. Yeah. I see. Look at you. You got it,
All right. I
No.
feel like I got it, but
You still have to practice it for a little bit, I think I'll help you as time goes on so that you can perfect how you speak it.
yeah, for sure.
Now let's try something like, let's say if you see someone you want to say how are you in Tree, you go about say, we say it in our local dialect like what to say.
Okay. Well, how to sing.
Yeah, or what to say.
Or how to sing.
Yeah, so this literally means like how is your body? How is your, like, you get it? Whether it's cool,
How's
right?
your body? Okay.
Yeah, that's like a treat. You can answer, then you can answer something like, I'm fine. That means mehoye.
Okay. So
Mehoye.
mehoye
Yeah. So I'll say,
means
how are
I'm
you?
fine.
Yeah. So I'll say,
Okay.
how are you? Like, what to say? Then you respond,
Mehoye.
mehoye.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's I'm fine. I'm good. I'm right. Like, that's what I say.
Oh, that's smooth. Thank you.
Like, so
Mehoye.
like, yeah. So let's try like a little back and forth. I will say it. You respond. Okay.
Okay.
What to say?
Mehoye.
Oh, that's good. You look like a Christian. Like, whoa, that's interesting. So,
I
so for
feel like
today,
a good student too.
yeah, you're a good student. So today I have a little like bonus for you, like bonus for your audience and all those kind of things. So if you want
Okay.
to say like thank you to someone, you say medase,
Medase.
medawase, like medawase.
Okay. Medawase.
Yeah,
Medawase.
medawase. Yeah, medawase. You are
Okay.
welcome. And if you want to say maybe you are welcome, memawakwaba,
Memawa Aquaba.
akwaba. Yeah,
Aquaba.
I think so. Yeah, that means
Okay.
you are welcome. You got it,
All
Laurie.
right. All right.
Mm.
So
So let's go through one, like let's go through all over again. You know,
okay.
like let's
Okay.
say you want to say good morning. How do you say memao ache? Good afternoon,
Memawo Ache.
ache. Yeah. Then you
Ache.
say good afternoon. You say memao aha.
Memawo Aha.
Yeah. And if you want to say good evening, you say memao ajo.
Memawo Ajo.
Yeah. And let's say you want to say how are you? Or to say.
Wahotase.
Yeah, that's how are you. And if you want to say, if you want to respond, I am fine, you say memao memoye.
Mihoye. I'm fine.
I'm
Mihoye.
fine.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. And you want to say thank you, medawase.
Medawase. Mm.
And the last
Did I
one
say
is
that right? That didn't feel
yeah,
right,
I
but
think you did good. You are doing good. I think you're learning great. You are
okay,
doing
okay,
good.
okay. Thank you.
So and then as last but not the least, I'll say like you are welcome. Mm.
Mima
Mama
wo
Akwaba.
aquaba. Mima
Yeah,
wo aquaba.
Akwaba. So if you
All right.
like this is what I'll say like thank you.
Mima wo aquaba.
Mm-hmm.
That would be my response back.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, look, y'all better practice that. If you're at home, in your car, wherever, say it out loud. Don't just be cute with it. Commit.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Language is a culture, and P is all about connection, community, and reading.
All right, fam. That's all for today's Say What?
Oh, wow.
But don't worry. We'll be back with more tweets real
Until
soon.
next time, Mudawasi. Thank you.
And don't forget, no matter where you're from or what language you speak, there's always room to learn something new. This has been Say What on Lorie Out Loud. Until next time, I'm your host, Lorie Akanbi.
Lorie Out Loud.
Hey, y'all, and welcome to the very first episode of Auntie's Corner on Lorie Out Loud. I'm your host, Lorie Jean Akanbi. Though some of y'all may know me as Lorie Jean Strother, or even by my blues stage name, the Dreaded Blues Lady, I wear a lot of hats. I'm a blues singer, a small business advocate, a small business owner, and even the vice mayor of Waynesboro, Virginia. But here in Auntie's Corner, I'm just Auntie Lorie, your friendly neighborhood blues woman with a story to tell. Now, since this is my debut podcast, I thought I'd start by sharing a bit of my own journey. And honey, what a journey it's been. It's a tale of twists and turns from being a homeless teenager on the streets of Boston to eventually earning multiple college degrees, to finding my voice in the blues, to eventually stepping into politics. And through it all, I've lived a rich life as a black woman here in America, full of love, loss, music, and definitely miracles. So pull up a chair, get cozy, and maybe grab a cup of something warm or cold. We're about to get real, get loud, and maybe even get a little bluesy together. I often say that I came out the chute singing. That is, I can't remember a time that I wasn't singing. Music has been like my background radiation in my life, always there, humming in the distance. I was born in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, but life eventually carried me up north to Buffalo, New York, and later to Boston, Massachusetts. One of my earliest memories of realizing the power of my voice was at a school PTA function when I was just 9 years old in Winston-Salem at Kimberly Park Elementary School. Little Lorie got up to sing in front of a bunch of parents and teachers, and to my astonishment, I got my first standing ovation. 9 years old, and the crowd was on their feet. Let me tell you, that moment lit a fire in me. I thought from that day on, I knew in my heart that music would always be a part of me. But as the blues has taught me, life isn't always a smooth ride on a sunny day. Sometimes the sky darkens. In my early teens, things took a hard turn. When I was 13 years old, I went through something no child should have to. I was thrown out by my mother. There I was, barely a teenager, essentially discarded, what some folks called during the time a throwaway youth. During the first few months of my homelessness, I managed to still go to school. I was in the 8th grade. That was the last grade that I completed of formal school. From age 13 to 17, I didn't really have a stable home. I found myself living on the streets of Boston, hundreds of miles from the warmth of that North Carolina community where I was born. I was homeless, scared, and honestly just trying to survive day by day. I'll never forget those Boston nights, especially in the wintertime. In fact, I was thrown out in the month of February. Early on, I slept in the hallways of the housing projects that my mother lived in, or on a friend's couch when I was lucky. And through all of it, one of the things that kept me going was music and, of course, my determination. I'd hum little tunes to myself to push away the loneliness and the fear. By age 17, I had been through more than some people go through in a whole lifetime. And life had one more surprise for teenage me. I found out I was pregnant at 17. Yeah, homeless, out of school, and about to become somebody's mama. If my life was a blues song, this was the bridge where all the instruments drop out and it's just me wailing. Lord, what am I gonna do now? They say God works in mysterious ways, and I truly believe an angel led me to the doors of a place called Bridge Over Troubled Waters. Now, if that name sounds like salvation, it absolutely was for me. Bridge Over Troubled Waters is a nonprofit organization in Boston for youth in crisis, and walking in there was like seeing a light at the end of a very, very dark tunnel. I was tired. I was expecting a baby. And I was desperate for a lifeline. And that organization became my bridge over my troubled waters. At Bridge, I met counselors who actually cared. They gave me a safe place to stay. And perhaps most importantly, they taught me how to live independently. Simple things that many teens learn at home, like budgeting money, cooking meals, and even doing laundry. I learned there in a program with other youth who had stories like mine. We were all trying to piece our lives together. They also had one big rule. If you hadn't finished school, you were going to finish now. No ifs, ands, or buts. So I went back to hit the books. Here I was, 17, visibly pregnant, sitting in a classroom studying for my GED exam. Talk about feeling out of place. Life has a sense of humor, doesn't it? I mean, damn. But I stuck with it. I knew that a diploma or an equivalency, in this case, was step one if I wanted a better life for myself and my child. And guess what? I earned my GED. Yes, I did. I was 8 months pregnant. That was August of 1985, I do believe. That moment, holding that certificate, I felt something I hadn't felt in years. Pride. Not the kind of pride that comes before a fall, but the kind that tells you, see, you can do something, Lorie. You are worth something. You are valued. Graduating from that program, I had a newfound determination. I had a baby dependent on me now. My oldest daughter, who today is about to be 40 years old this year, and probably listening now to her mama playing Aunty on this podcast. Hey, girl. I knew I needed to build a stable life. So I went to college. First at UMass Boston, where I discovered Bessie Smith and her amazing blues vocals. Once I relocated to Virginia, I went to community college for an associate's degree. Then I got a bachelor's degree. And believe it or not, I even earned my master's degree. In my later years, from a high school dropout to a holder of multiple degrees. Honey, sometimes I look at my diplomas and just laugh. It's like a plot twist nobody saw coming, except maybe those folks at Bridge who always believed in me. They convinced me to believe in me. Now, mind you, this education journey didn't just happen overnight. It took years, and I was raising my family through it all. I didn't stop at one child. I didn't stop at 2, nor 3, nor 4. I ended up with 5 beautiful children over the years. Yes, I said 5. I like to think I was just building my own personal band, one kid at a time. And I did. I made all of them learn an instrument. My kids range in age now from early 20s to mid to late 30s. And raising them while juggling classes, jobs, and gigs. Woo boy, let's just say I became a master at doing my homework while simultaneously helping the kids with their homework and cooking dinner and whatever else needed to get done. Those were some long days and longer nights, but we made it through. If that isn't a testament to resilience, I don't know what is. Through all of these ups and downs, one thing never left me: my music. I kept singing whenever I could, in the shower, in the car, rocking my babies to sleep, you name it. After moving to Virginia in the late 80s and settling in Waynesboro, my home since 1989, I started to get involved in the local music scene. This small town girl with a big voice had stories to tell, and I found that the blues was the language that fit my soul. Why blues? Well, I would like to blame it all on Bessie Smith. Bessie's Empty Bed Blues was the first blues song that I heard. I woke up this morning with an awful aching head. Ba-da-da-da. My new man had left me just a room and an empty bed. Her voice was big and bold. Her lyrics were sassy and humorous. I wanted to sing those songs. So I did some open mics. I sang at some house parties. I sang all the time in my living room, and eventually by the 1990s, I was performing regularly. Nothing huge, just local gigs, community events, little festivals. The blues Lorie Strother. And that's what I sang primarily. Classic blues songs from the women of the early 1900s. Around 2008, I hit a new groove. I teamed up with a local guitarist, a historian named Dr. Stephen Levine, and together we formed a duo called Dr. Levine and the Dreaded Blues Lady. My son, 8 years old at the time, named the group. We started performing all over Virginia doing acoustic blues that blend history and music using those same songs. Stephen brought his mean finger picking skills, and I'd belt out the vocals. We made an odd pair to look at. Him, a mild mannered historian with an acoustic guitar, and me, the boisterous, dreadlocked blues lady. But oh, when we played, it just worked. We've been making music together ever since, keeping the blues alive and giving it our own flavor. I also still perform solo or with a full band sometimes, but there's something special about a duo act. Just a guitar, a voice, and the blues. It's raw and it's real. One of the biggest honors of my musical journey came in 2012 when I got the chance to apprentice with Gay Adegbalola. Now, if you don't know Gay, she's a blues legend, part of the trio Sapphire, the uppity blues woman. Think of her as an elder stateswoman of the blues. And here she was mentoring little old me. The Virginia Foundation for the Humanities gave me that apprenticeship with her, and oh boy, I was thrilled. Gay taught me not just techniques and repertoire, but also shared wisdom about being a black woman in the blues, owning your space and your story. That apprenticeship was a once-in-a-lifetime experience, truly. During my musical journey, I have recorded a few independent albums and compilations, projects like Homemade Blues, Raw G, and The Morning After. I even wrote some original songs. One of my favorites I wrote is called Keep Your Mind on the Blues, which ended up on a regional music compilation album. I also got to collaborate with other artists I admire, like recording a classic Robert Johnson tune, Come On in My Kitchen, with bluesman Corey Harris. But perhaps the song I'm proudest of recently came in 2018. That year, after we witnessed the tragedies of Alton Sterling and Philando Castile being killed by police, and the horror of losing Heather Heyer right here in Virginia to a white supremacist attack, my heart was heavy, and I channeled all that pain and anger into a song called Sing His Name. It's a tribute and a protest rolled into one, a blues lament for lives taken unjustly. I poured every ounce of sorrow and hope into it. When I performed Sing His Name live at the University of Virginia, I got a standing ovation. Not because my voice was particularly perfect that day, but because of the emotion and the shared grief and determination in that room. In that moment, music and advocacy met, and I felt my identity as a black woman, as an artist, and as a mother and community member all fused together. We felt that song. I'll never forget it. Now you may be wondering, outside of music, how else does a once homeless girl make a living and make a difference? Well, one of my other passions is advocating for small businesses. See, somewhere along the way, besides being an artist, I also became a bit of a businesswoman. Had to. Raising 5 kids ain't cheap, and working alone doesn't always pay the light bill. I started my own entertainment company to manage my performances. That's Lostro Entertainment, LLC, the umbrella for the dreaded blues lady gigs. And being a small business owner myself, I learned how tough it can be to get your foot in the door, especially for small businesses. Eventually, I took on a role working with the state of Virginia to help other small businesses. In fact, these days, my day job is serving as an advocate within state government, helping Virginia's small businesses connect with procurement opportunities in fields like construction, architecture, engineering, and more. It's basically helping the little guys get a shot at the big contracts. I like to joke that I'm a matchmaker, not matching people with each other, at least not yet anyway, but matching local entrepreneurs with opportunities and resources. It's really rewarding to see a qualified firm land a contract or project that can elevate their business to the next level. Maybe it's the nurturer in me, but I love seeing others grow and succeed, especially folks who, like me, have had to struggle and hustle. And let's be real. Part of why I care about this is because of where I came from. I know what it's like to start with nothing. I know what it's like to be told, no, you can't, a million times. So whenever I can, open a door for someone else, be it through a city program, a state initiative, or even just sharing advice, I'm going to do it. Advocacy is woven into everything I do, whether it's through lyrics or through legislation. Speaking of advocacy, let's talk about how on earth I ended up in politics. If you had told 16-year-old me huddled on those Boston streets that someday I'd be the vice mayor of a city, I'd have laughed or maybe cried and said, "Stop kidding me." But here I am, and the journey to public office is yet another unexpected chapter of my life. I've always been active in my community here in Waynesboro, volunteering at local organizations, serving on boards, mentoring others, that sort of thing. I'm an advocate at heart, and there were issues I cared deeply about: homelessness, no surprise there given my past, affordable housing, economic development for our city, and making sure the basic needs of our citizens were met. Things like good schools, safe streets, clean water. I saw decisions being made that affected all of us, and I thought, why not me? Why shouldn't I step up and serve? I mean, I had the time with all my kids being grown. So, with the powerful encouragement and support of one local black woman in particular, you know who you are, I threw my hat in the ring and ran for city council. And from there, I began to get support from various people throughout our community. This was just last year, and woo, campaigning was a whole new adventure. I went door to door, and sometimes people would look at me like, "Lady, you want to be on city council?" Maybe it was the dreads. Maybe it was just surprise at my non traditional background. But I tell them straight up, I'm a longtime resident, a mom, a business advocate, and I know the struggles everyday folks face. I've lived them, and I am still living them. I'm here to make sure everyone's voice is heard. And you know what? That message resonated. In the election, our community chose me to represent them. On January 1, 2025, I took office as a council member, and shortly after, my peers on the council selected me to serve as vice mayor. And get this, that made me the first African American vice mayor in the history of Waynesboro. Our city was founded in 1797. I'm also serving along with the first African American mayor in the history of Waynesboro. What's up, Mayor? The first in 2025. In these days and times, we're still making firsts. It's humbling to be part of that progress. I'm also only the second black woman ever to sit on our city council. So it's a big honor, but also a big responsibility. I often think about how history came full circle in some ways. Decades ago, I was a homeless teenager trying to survive. Now I'm a woman in a position to influence policy, including policies to help the homeless. In fact, as vice mayor, one of my top priorities is creating practical solutions to homelessness and attainable housing in our city. I've been there. I know how vital a helping hand can be. If I can make it easier for even one person to get off the streets and into a stable home, or prevent a teen from being out in the cold, then every council meeting is worth it. When I was chosen as vice mayor, a reporter asked how I was feeling. I responded, I feel elated, proud, and humbled to serve. Because I truly am. Every time I sit in that council chamber and glance at that nameplate that says Vice Mayor Lorie Jean Akanbi, or every time someone calls me Madam Vice Mayor, I have a moment of wow. And sometimes I swear I hear a little blues riff in my head right then, like my soul is reminding me just how far I've come. Of course, I bring my full self to the job. City councils got a bit more flavor now. They got a blues woman on board. I've even joked that if discussions get too tense, I may just lead us in song. Not yet, but stay tuned. It could happen now. I approach leadership much like I approach music. I listen to others, I improvise when necessary, and I always keep the rhythm of progress going by my willingness to make tough decisions when necessary. As I settled into midlife, one aspect of my identity continues to tug at me more and more: my African heritage. As a Black American, especially one with Southern roots, I know the basics that my ancestors were from Africa, likely West Africa, brought over during the slave trade. But that's where the knowledge stops. Unlike my husband, who is actually from Africa and can trace his lineage, I grew up with a bit of a void in that area. I don't know which African cultures flow in my veins. So recently, I decided to do something both exciting and a little scary. I decided to take an African ancestry DNA test. Yep, and I'm going to collect my DNA sample right here with you, the audience, today. Then we're going to meet back up here sometime soon so that I can share the results. And so the test that I'll be taking today is the African ancestry test, and in particular the matriclan test, which is the maternal lineage test. And I'm going to open it. I haven't opened this as of yet. So let me just carefully open it up and see what's going on in here. Look at all these There's 3 different swabs in here, and swab envelope. And so let me just check it out and see. This says, so get ready to take the test at least 3 hours before. Do not use mouthwash or toothpaste. Do not use caffeine or alcohol. And do not smoke. And so that doesn't disqualify me from taking this test, because I have not done any of those 3 hours before. But it also says right before you take the test, do rinse your mouth out twice with water. So that's what I'll have to do, is go and rinse my mouth out with water. And collect your DNA. I'm going to break here. I'm going to go rinse my mouth out. Then I'll come back. Okay, I'm back. I have cleaned my mouth out twice as it directed here. And I'm now going to take each of these swabs and put them in my mouth. Roll the swab along the inside of each of my cheeks approximately 20 times. 20 times. I done lost count. Oh. Side. 5. 10. 8. So that's about 20 times each side. And then it said put it on a paper towel to dry. And then I'm going to do it one more again. So here we go. And it's about 20 times on that side. Alrighty. So one more. Shoot, is my mouth gonna be sore after all this? Here's the last one. Okay, so this is the last one. And some extra spins for good measure. So there they all are. That's it. So we're going to come back at a later date. Don't know how long this is going to take, but as soon as it comes in, I'll feature it in another Auntie's Corner. And so I'm psyched. I've been wanting to do this for a very, very, very long time. Why am I doing this? Well, for a few reasons. One, I want to honor my ancestors, known and unknown, by learning about them. Two, I want to share that heritage with my children. Give them something more than just, we're black folks from North Carolina, which is all I've had for so long. And three, it is a way to deepen the bond with my husband and his culture. I think maybe, just maybe, I discover that my lineage traces back to the same region or ethnic group as his. How poetic would that be? Even if not, any insight would be meaningful. It's like finding a missing chapter of your life story that you never even got to read. Looking back on everything I've shared, from that little girl singing for the PTA, to the teen who had to grow up way too fast, to the young mother clawing her way through school, to the blues singer finding her voice, to the advocate and vice mayor working for her community. One word keeps coming to mind: resilience. If my life were a blues song, it wouldn't be a sad song. It would be an uplifting blues, the kind that starts low, but ends on a big, hopeful note. Because I have learned that no matter how painful your start, you can compose a new melody for your life. I often think about the rich diversity of my experiences. I mean, how many people do you meet who can say, yeah, I used to be homeless, I dropped out of school, and now I'm a politician? In the same breath as, I got 5 kids and a master's degree. And by the way, catch my blues show this Saturday night. It sounds almost unbelievable when I lay it out like that. But that's the beauty of life. We contain multitudes. Identity isn't one note, it's a whole symphony. I'm a mother, a wife, a black woman, an American, an African descendant, a singer, a public servant, an entrepreneur, a former homeless teen thrown away by her mother, a forever student. All of it, all at once. And I wear each of those identities with pride now. To anyone out there listening who may be going through a tough time, maybe you're a teenager in a bad situation. Maybe you're a single mom trying to make ends meet. Maybe you're just feeling lost. I want you to hear my story and know that where you start doesn't have to be where you end up. You have strength inside you that you might not even see yet. And when things get heavy, do what I do. Keep your mind on the blues or whatever gives you comfort. For me, it was music. For you, it might be writing or faith or community. Find that thing that lights your soul up and hold on to it. It can guide you out of the darkest corners. As we wrap up this first Auntie's Corner, I want to leave y'all with a little scene that stays in my heart. Sometimes I sit on my porch here in Waynesboro in the evening. I look out at the Blue Ridge Mountains in the distance, and I think about 13-year-old Lorie. In my mind, I see her approach and sit next to me. I sing to her, hang on, baby girl. We're going to be all right. And she leaned on my shoulder, listening to the music of a life she hasn't lived yet, but will. That image reminds me why I do what I do, for that girl and for everyone like her. Thank you for spending this time with me, for listening to my story. This is Lorie Jean Akanbi, the dreaded blues lady, and your resident auntie, signing off from Auntie's Corner. I hope you found a bit of inspiration and maybe a chuckle or two in my tale. Join me next time on Lorie Out Loud for more stories, soul, and creativity. And until then, keep singing your song. Keep holding on to hope. And don't forget, when life gets tough, the tough get to bluesing. Yes, yes, and yes. Bye-bye, y'all. Stay strong and stay tuned.
Lorie Out Loud.
Your friendly neighborhood business. Okay. We're not going to do a lot of starting over, okay? Please. Okay. Hey, at 434-426. God damn it. Oh, boy.